I'll just sit here and
Jeff,
watch.
3 favorite moments from the Lions season. We'll go one by one. I'll let you start. Your favorite moment of the season.
I'll break the bread with this one. Last game of the season, taking care again for the second time, by the way, of the Green Bay Packers. Prime time, Sunday night football. Packers have a chance to get in. I know the Lions didn't because we watched the results beforehand with the Rams and Seahawks, but how they handled the pressure, how they handled playing on the road in that environment, a loud Lambeau Field, and they responded the right way. And I think that meant a ton, and that gave a ton of Lions fans optimism heading into the offseason. And although they didn't make the playoffs, it was probably the best way you could have ended the season, not making the playoffs. So that's got to be my favorite moment. Just how individually Aiden Hutchinson, guys stepped up, Kirby Joseph, it was nice to see. And the fact that it was on Aaron Rodgers made it a little more sweeter. So first best moment of the season, I got to say, last game versus the Packers.
The first one that comes to my mind was Washington. Aiden Hutchinson, 3 sacks in the first half. That to me was... I don't know off the top of my head if I could say there was a better in the moment high that I felt than the first half watching the Lions play. They dominated the Commanders. Aiden Hutchinson, 3 sacks. And again, I can't foresight. In that moment, that was everything. That was drafting the cocaine. That was your premier edge rusher of the future. That was the first glimpse of, we got a playmaker here. And he ended up delivering 9.5 sacks on the year, 3 interceptions. He filled out the box score his rookie year. He was excellent. So, to me, my first moment really started at the beginning of the year. You look at the Washington game, Aiden Hutchinson's 3-sack performance. I don't think there was another moment in the year where I was as hyped, as excited for a single moment.
Yeah, agreed. It foreshadowed a great ending to the season and assuming a great career for Aiden Hutchinson. I think I'm absolutely with you. Solidified the draft pick. The next moment was Jameson Williams' touchdown catch against the Vikings. That was the first moment we got to see Jameson and what he can be. Because for weeks we were talking, when are they going to get Jameson involved? How much are they going to get him involved? And I get he was wide open, and you can criticize the throw all you want. It was Jared's first big completion of Jameson. But just the fact that he caught it at home, his dad's in the crowd, his family's in the crowd, he gave him the game ball, or the touchdown ball that he caught it with. That moment meant a lot, at least for me. And a lot of Lions fans who know what Jameson could be. And to see him do that, it basically, you just sat there watching and you're like, I can get used to this. So I got to say, the first big,
okay.
and he had a couple moments where he had the ball in space and he made some plays, but that first touchdown catch welcomed Jameson into the league. That was definitely one of my favorite moments of the season.
One of my favorite moments was actually a negative moment, to be honest with you. Because it instilled a rage in me I don't think I've ever felt in my life. And obviously I'm famous for the one punt line. But the the Seahawk-Lions game, that was a thriller. That was back and forth. That was 48-45. And I know I came in wanting to kill every single person in the city, but that's a whole different problem. I have anger issues. I know that. I'm aware of it. I'm trying to work on it, but I haven't succeeded yet. Anyways, moving on. That game was everything wrong and right with the Lions, summed up in the whole season. The 8-2 run you saw down the stretch, all encompassed in that one game. Defense was shit. Top 5 offense, historical pace, able to run the football, able to throw the football at will, no issues. Jared Goff playing phenomenal. But timely turnovers, not being able to force a punt, cost you a football game. Sucks. But it was one of my favorite moments because looking back now, that game embodies everything right and wrong with the Lions at the time. And then you saw it, if you want to preview ahead to the 8-2 stretch, when they were 8-2 during that whole period, you kept seeing the offense. You saw glimpses of a better defense. And you saw a top 10 defense at times. Hell, for a 7-8 week stretch almost. So it was good to watch. Jeff, your last one.
It's 2 because
okay.
they're tied.
I
couldn't. So the first one has to be, and it's another Packers. I gotta love.
You gotta stop with this
Packers
Packers stuff. Is
but
it Kirby?
Kirby's 2 interceptions.
Performance.
Yes. It not only just that too. What he did, 3 pass deflections, had some athletic plays. Just the fact that He was a rookie at the time. We knew what he could be, right? Coming out of college, he's a ball hawk. You saw him force two forced fumbles before the last 2 games, and then he comes out against Aaron Rodgers, 2 picks, 3 pass deflections. Like that really flashed the potential of Kirby Joseph. And by the way, Aiden Hutchinson had a pick in that game as well. So just the rookies playing well in that game. It started the Lions 8-2 stretch or run to end the season. That was definitely a great moment. The other one, and I can't let this segment go by without mentioning it. Penei Sewell, first down catch in motion to end the game against Minnesota. I mean, you got to bring that up. The big fella getting in space, and not just that, the bitch slap he had after catching the ball as well when he got up. Basically just like pimp slap, turn around, walk away, flex. I'm sitting there going, that's my right tackle. That's the Lions franchise right tackle, and the fact that he was able to make that play, you've seen it previewed. He's athletic. He could play tight end. Dan Campbell always says if he lost weight. Seeing him make that play against the Vikings, man, it made me smile. So I gotta put those 2 as a tie for 3rd.
I'm not gonna put them in any order. All right, I've given you my first 2, but this last one was special for me because it was a battle I fought for over 3 years. To no success until I was vindicated by Brad Holmes himself.
Yep.
It was a battle I was criticized for on social media and obviously on the show. And that was former Detroit Lions tight end Eric Ebron when he was traded. Oh, excuse me. I meant T.J. Hawkinson.
Jesus.
Trading T.J. Hawkinson was one of the not one of the best move of the season. You got a 2nd-round pick. Now you got 2 for this upcoming draft. You don't have to pay this bum to do nothing for you. And you got more production out of your 2 backup tight ends than you did from him. Oh, and your quarterback stopped throwing interceptions. Surprise, surprise. So, yes, I think the T.J. Hawkinson trade was one of my favorite moments of the season.
So wrong for that. You're so wrong for that. You know,
Just
it's funny,
pull up the numbers, man.
Well, speaking of the numbers, Jared Goff stopped throwing interceptions when he was traded, so things just happen. But there's so many more, too. Like, you could bring up the Brock Wright, the drag route he ran off of play action to close the Jets game. He ran like 80 yards for a touchdown. Looked a lot faster than he looked on the screen. You're seeing him run down, tumble into the end zone. That was kind of the big play that decided that game. And another moment, these are just little, key mentions. The other one would be beating the Giants on the road because that was at the time where the Giants were still, 7-3?
But we all knew they were.
But don't take that away from the Lions.
I'm just saying. We literally did the show that Friday.
Don't do
And
this.
we both gave score predictions. We both said the Lions would win. And we both said, when does this end? Because the Giants, if I look at a 7-2 record, I think of a contender. They weren't.
I get that.
We both agreed. We both had the same.
But if Saquon went for 180 and they lost,
I get it. No, they dominated the Giants. It was an impressive performance. Don't get me wrong.
Against Brian Dable, who really, to me, deserves Coach of the Year. Like that meant a ton. I think it was their first road win.
No, Chicago was.
So their second road win. Either way, I got to double check.
Wasn't Chicago the first road win, and then they went the next week and won in New York?
Either way, I think it was the most impressive to start their first really impressive road win. It was nice.
The Jacksonville performance was really good.
That was another one, yep.
That was really good. Anything else? Anybody else? Any memories? Anything come to mind? Am I missing anything?
Aiden picking off Aaron Rodgers.
Aiden's interception against Aaron against Green Bay. Yeah,
he did do that.
That was a good one. Gosh, you know what? I will say I do have one more. No, God, no. I would never. Stop it. I do have one more, but it's not personal. It's just reality. One of my favorite moments of the year. One of my favorite moments was when Mike Hughes was named the starting cornerback. I'm such a fucking asshole.
You're such an ass. I knew you were going to go that route, too. Oh, my God.
We're not going to say who got benched. That's not appropriate. But anyways, back to the show.
And one more I want to mention, too, that I think is significant in a way as well.
James Houston killing Justin Fields?
Yes. That was
nice.
That's a big one.
Open tackle against him out of the pocket. That was
I
impressive.
want to say Jamal Williams breaking Barry Sanders' touchdown record. And I know Jamal isn't your typical RB1, but the fact that he did that, got 1,000 yards, and I love Jamal Williams as a human being, but the fact that he was able to accomplish that, it really tells you that at what the Lions have had at talent-wise at running back the last couple seasons, or just historically since Barry is left and retired. But Jamal breaking that record, that means a ton, man. So I got to say, that was nice to see. He deserves
You know
it.
what? I want to acknowledge two things in the chat before we go to break. Life with Cool says, the first time we actually punted after losing all those games without punting. I'm not going to lie. I think I still have the tweet up, by the way. To this day, I forget which game it was. I want to say it was either Chicago or Minnesota the second. I don't remember when. But when there was a moment when the Lions decided to punt, I think it was after Dallas. I lost my shit. I was on cloud nine. I said, I can't believe it. We're about to punt. We're going to win this game. Oh, my goodness. I'm so happy. I felt the same way, man. And then the second one I want to talk about is Steve-O. He says, do you guys have any worst Lions moments? Yeah, I got a lot.
Oh, jeez, man. Yeah.
God, it's in a 7-week vacuum, but a lot of them. Onside kick, timeout before half against Philly.
Mine,
Kicking a 50-yard field goal with a guy who hasn't attempted, 2, 3, 4 in his career?
the worst one for me is going for it. What was it, fourth and
Fourth and 9
9?
against New England on
When
the
you're
road.
down 6-0. Oh, my
8 penalties,
gosh.
5 turnovers against Dallas. Yeah, there were some bad fucking moments, but hey, 8-2 down the stretch. Makes you forget a little bit.
Oh,
Thank
yeah,
God.
that was...
That 1-6 was horrible, guys. I know we can laugh at it now, all right? And you want to laugh at me, be my guest, but that was horrendous. That was some pathetic-ass football. And they were playing, amazing on offense, but they just couldn't get out of their own way, whether it was coaching, whether it was the defense, whether it was the pick sixes, whether it was the offsides, whether it was the onsides, whether it was the timeouts, the kicks. It didn't matter. They just couldn't get out of their own way for some reason.
my favorite moment on this show was them not forcing a punt and having to see you Monday and your reaction to that.
That was not one of my... That was horrible.
Force one. Yeah, been punt. I'm like, well,
I was bad.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Come on,
everybody
man.
was. Yeah,
Because we agreed at 1-6. They weren't 1-6.
right.
They were not as bad as a 1-6 football team is.
They were not.
But their fucking record was 1-6. What do you do?
You are what your record
What do you
is.
sit there and lie and say everything is jolly, it's great, it's all roses and peaches, and I've never been happier in my life?